Up first to this hour, a renewed debate over Sunday shopping in Nova Scotia. It's been 5 years since the government of the day, the Rodney McDonald Conservative government, ignored the results of a province-wide plebiscite. Majority of Nova Scotians voting against Sunday shopping. And the government, well, as I said, ignored that and allowed stores to open 7 days a week. The fuss over Sunday shopping, though, had pretty much settled down until, well, just the other day. That's when a commentary by Halifax Chamber President Valerie Payne brought Sunday shopping opponents out of the woodwork. Folks like my next guest. He's retail worker Tony Lonis, one of the main voices of opposition during that whole debate over Sunday shopping. And we say good afternoon to Tony. Hey, Tony.
Hi, Rick. How are you this afternoon?
I'm very well, sir. How are you doing?
It almost feels like old times.
Yeah, really. You were a frequent guest as we discussed the whole pros and cons of Sunday shopping. Valerie Payne writes in the Chronicle Herald newspaper the other day that now it seems years later, the only fallout from having the ability to shop on Sunday are reports from grocery stores that Sunday has become their busiest day. And, Tony, I've seen it myself. In fact, I've shopped on Sundays now at grocery stores. It is
on you.
it is convenient, but it's not just me. Again, Nova Scotians have are taken with Sunday shopping.
Well, Rick, if government offices were open, people would definitely go to it. But I wouldn't say the government ignored the plebiscite. They broke the law. The plebiscite that we had was a binding one, Rick. And the courts never struck down Sunday shopping.
Well, I like to beg. I'm not sure that was a binding plebiscite, though.
Well, it was a binding plebiscite. We have a link on our website, saveoursundays.ca, into the government website, and it's definitely a binding one. I checked with our local MLA, Pam Birdsall's office down here, and they confirmed it was a binding plebiscite. So if you look at it being binding, and you look at the court report, which we have a link into the court site, even Maureen McDonald, our current health minister, in November of 2006, she says, Mr. Speaker, but currently their position added to the confusion and idea that somehow the court struck down Sunday shopping in our province. It simply didn't occur. Even the health minister, when she was in opposition, admitted in the legislature that the courts never struck it down. So, why was the plebiscite ignored? It's quite funny, Rick. I was listening to Tom Young this afternoon speak about voting and how important it was, and I'm thinking, hello, Tom Young. What about the vote we had in Nova Scotia?
But as Valerie Payne pointed out when we chatted with her earlier on the show today, she is the CEO and president of the Halifax Chamber of Commerce and spoke to us during our Nova Scotia hour between 3 and 4 this afternoon. She said, the voter turnout during that election was abysmal. I think it was something like in around 30%, if not a little bit less. And so she said, the majority of Nova Scotians really didn't speak.
Well, it's like a provincial election. If you don't go vote, you can't complain. And people had the opportunity to go and vote, and they didn't go. But as far as I'm concerned, the plebiscite itself was geared up wrong with the wrong question to begin with. It should have asked, would you like banks, government offices, list everything open on Sunday, yes or no?
Well, some banks are now opening their doors on Sundays.
And that's kind of sad, Rick. I'm glad you brought that up because I bet you there are a lot of people in banks wishing they never supported Sunday shopping.
Yeah, now this is, for you, this is a fight over the rights of the retail worker. And
they do have the right to refuse to work. Even new employees have the right to refuse to work.
On Sundays. And how has that gone? Because there was some concern that even though that right was going to be given to workers, that many retail workers felt if they refused to work on Sunday that somehow their employer would take it out against them.
Rick, I guess the way I can put it out, the law's there, but it's like bullying in schools. If you feel pressure from your employer and you're not strong enough to say, I'm not going to work on Sunday, 9 out of 10 you're going to be working. A manager, they cannot refuse to work. And the only way it really works out is we need a common day. We need a common day, and it doesn't have to be Sunday. It could be Monday.
Well, tell me why you think we need a common day. What's your case there?
Well, to have time together with your family, to rest. Like, for example, when I go for a jog on a Sunday, the traffic, it's not quiet anymore. It's not the same Nova Scotia that we held so proud, so unique it used to be. You could go for a walk, and it was peaceful and quiet. And that separated us from the rest of the world.
Well, and Valerie Payne again writes in her column that this was nothing more than the irrational fear of change and an unhealthy habit of deferring to those who object to change.
Well, Valerie Payne would say that because it's all about money. What it boils down to with the Chamber of Commerce, they just don't care about family life, and you can see it using Sunday shopping to promote the convention center, and I'm sure that's something else that's not asked to the public how they feel. It's like Sunday shopping was just shoved down our throats, and
but it may have been. But and Tony, I was on side with this during this whole issue, but now I've kind of thrown up the white flag here because again, as Valerie Payne points out, grocery stores say Sundays become their busiest day. You look at the local malls, and the parking lots are full on Sundays. It seems Nova Scotians have, whether they were for it or against it, they're now out there shopping on a Sunday.
We have 8,000 some people pushing for a family day in February, a family day, and I disagree with Valerie Payne. I think there's a big push to have these family days back, and it's quite obvious by the family day they're pushing in February. But I say to the people, why not have 52 instead of one family day? I really don't get it. I think we have something special. We can get it back. I know we can get it back.
So you think we can turn back the clock, do you?
Yes, I guess we can. If people don't believe that, then they don't believe in a democracy. And I really have my doubts with this plebiscite because Rick, I honestly thought I'd just given this whole thing up. And when I think about what the government did to us when we voted and we won it, it's totally wrong. They broke the law illegally. It should be investigated. It was a binding plebiscite, and if people out there want to check it out, it is on our website, like I said. And
but in order to change this, you're going to have to get the support of either the government or the political parties, and I know that none of them right now, anyway, have indicated any kind of desire to see Sunday shopping banned again.
Rick, how many years had the Sunday shopping crowd been pushing for Sunday shopping before they got it?
It was quite a few.
Well, exactly. I mean, there's nothing stopping us from going back to the good old days, and we would be the leaders. I can remember when we won some kind of award for being the best place to come. Do you remember that? It was back quite a few years ago. And they said Nova Scotia was the best place to come. Well, we didn't have Sunday shopping then. And they were suggesting the Americans come here because it wasn't no hustle and bustle. People could relax, enjoy the scenery, spend time with family and friends up this way, and meet Canadians. But now we're just like the States. And can we go back? Oh, you bet we can, Rick.
What's your website if people want to check it out, perhaps get involved?
www.saveoursundays.ca. And we also had an interview with Mark Parent. I'm very pleased that he did this interview with me. He could have said no, because I did give him and his government a pretty hard time. So.
He was part of the government that brought in Sunday shopping, and Mark, of course, has been an opponent of it from the get-go, but unable to convince the McDonald government of the day to see things his way. Tony, I'm going to have to take a break. We're going to talk to a former retail manager who is also opposed to Sunday shopping and warned back then that it wasn't going to be the economic boom that many thought it would be.
Well, Rick, thank you very much for having me on your show and News 95.7, and I enjoyed you this morning with Aaron Trafford.
All right.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks, Cody. Bye-bye. Tony Lonis, the man behind the Save Our Sunday website.